Hey, hey, hey. Well, it looks like the sound's working this time. My apologies. I tried to go on before and there was no sound. It's been so hot here. We've had a lot of power outages in Florida where I live. And so, internet is iffy. So my apologies. Now, if those of you that are new to the channel, welcome. My name is Laura. I'm going to do a general message for Scorpio. Know that energy is fluid. Rules can be reversed. Just interpret the message as it best resonates with you. Also know on this channel and all my channels, I like to dive deep within the reading. So we do look at everything, but we take a lot more time to look at the spiritual blocks, the shadows, to see how they play as karmic themes, help you understand why your person is doing what they're doing. Really important when you're dealing with a person that's a past life karmic mate or really any soul mate, because our relationships are all about healing. Believe it or not, it's one way that the universe helps us to restore our energy, bring our energy back to its original energy, just of unconditional love. Now, anything of any importance or relevance to the channel, you can find it in the description box, including my shadow healing coaching program and the link to these beautiful bracelets. Otter Spirit. That's where I got them from. And I love this one. This one. All this whole series I wound up, putting together. They have a bunch that they put together as sets, but I didn't like any of them. I like these. And you can mix and match. And I don't know. Do I believe that crystals heal you? I believe that crystals can align your energy. I believe that we can actually heal ourselves. We have to use tools to help us get there. So the crystal alone doesn't help us, but they represent the medicine that we need. And when you wear it, you obviously think about it. And that is how it aligns your energy. Why? Because it's the thoughts that you think and the emotions that you have that create your energy. So when we're connected to a karmic, well, that energy can a lot of times, like I said, trigger us, where a lot of times you want to wear crystals to balance your energy, especially if you have to counteract energy. Meaning if you're, have to deal with a boss and the boss is uptight, you want to wear certain crystals to help you balance your energy, to help you. It's just the same with animal totems. If you need certain medicine, the animal holds certain characteristics that you need to incorporate into your life. It's all based on shadow healing and helping you to understand who you are so that you can attract the type of people and have the type of experiences that you want to have, right? The underlining energy is the gift of style. I love this card. And it's because the gift of style is your unique style, which is an unfoldment process. You don't really know where you don't it's not a logical and analytical thing. It's like you're on your path and you're finding it. And as you are grounded and looking and being led by your intuition, your higher self is leading you, and you're finding your gift of style. You're finding your essence. You're finding what feels right to you. So it's almost like you're living your bliss. You're letting spirit, like, kind of, hey, Alan, so you're kind of letting, spirit, guide you. Because again, we all have that higher self, and the higher self is a God part of self, which is all knowing. We tend to be blocked, and we get blocked due to our experiences. So the gift of style is one way to actually heal, because you're embodying the energy of love. And we can only really listen to our intuition when we are doing what we love, all right. So this is the energy. Let's see, pull another card. So either you are the person that you are connected to, but I feel like it's you that is in this energy. And a lot of times when we're dealing with a person that is like a karmic mate, so there's someone that continually triggers, they run away from the relationship, they sabotage the connection. A lot of times that's what will actually push you into the gift of style, meaning the person's not giving you anything. So you're like, I'm not going to just sit here. Blame. So again, like I said, I really feel like you are in connection with somebody that triggered you, and the person avoided you. And it was somebody that wasn't really supposed to. There's an ESP connection through the heart and mind. And that is that soulmate connection. So there's a lot of passion, but there's also like this, where this knowing, this deep claircognizance, which is spiritual knowing about this person, and they have it with you too. So I feel like this person like tried to avoid you, to avoid being called out on some behavior, and a lot of time has gone by, and I feel like this person is in a place of anxiety now because they like avoided you over pride, and I feel like they tend to have this energy of being very selfish to begin with. So, soulmates are the only people that can make people change. We always have free will to choose, but understand, even though this person is selfish, I feel like the fact that they have anxiety now, it's almost like they know that they pushed it to like the extreme. And again, when you were with them, it was all about them gaslighting you. And I feel like this person misjudged you. They didn't think that you had such a strong sense of self, or or they perceived that you did, whether you did or not. But I feel like you did, and that this person just tried to make you feel as if you didn't belong, almost like you were the outsider. But I feel like that's how they feel, and they projected that energy onto you. They have a hard time with intimacy. If we're not comfortable with ourselves, we're not going to be able to be comfortable with anybody else. Never mind a person that's a soulmate that we have a claircognizance connection to. Not going to happen. It's going to be overstimulating to that person. So it's like the gaslighting is kind of like the old same old, same old. I want to keep you on the hook, right? I want to keep you on the hook, but I don't really know what to give. I don't really know. And I feel like you just felt like there was still either a connection with a past person, or that this person gave more to other people, which that will happen. Like I said, if a person has an intimacy issue, they're going to be able to display emotion and be transparent and actually act like a friend to like a stranger more than they're going to be able to with a person that they want to build a relationship that they're really attracted to. And it's because of compartmentalization. And so like you just felt like, I know that you and your past person didn't get along, but then why all of a sudden now do you seem like you care almost like more? And I feel like that's guilt. I feel like that's guilt. That's not even, that's not even like the person doesn't have feelings towards the person. Is that they have an intimacy issue. They have a second chakra imbalance. That second chakra is all about their unfoldment process. Why? Because your unfoldment process is how you find who you are. Your gift of style is your essence. It's your flavor. It's what you're into. It's when you are able to have a love affair with God, with the universe, because again, when you're finding yourself, the kingdom of heaven's inside of you, you're imagining it and you're able to create it, because the universe then is going to bring you everything that you need to create. So you detach from this person because they essentially weren't giving you anything. So, and now they're watching you because you were like, you're not going to gaslight me. It's like, I know you get tired of this person wearing a mask. It's like, either you're going to act like you care about me and want to be in a relationship with me or not. But whatever this is, it's not working for me. It's like, it's not fulfilling, because understand you're fulfilling yourself. And that's what would happen eventually, because the person's not giving you anything. So it would force you to find, something that was going to fulfill you. Otherwise, you'd stay in a place of pain and suffering because, like I said, the person is selfish and they make you feel as if you don't belong, but really they're not comfortable in their own skin. So what happens is, again, when you're with someone like that, you feel like, that your world becomes upside down. You begin to question your reality. That's why it's really important that you surround yourself with people that are supportive, right? Otherwise, like you said, you'll wind up inheriting this person's karma. Now, let's see what was going on. And we'll look, obviously, to see what they're going to do and why you attracted this person and all that. But see what it is? There's a part of this person that is, again, very departmentalizes. So I feel like they're very attracted to you. They're very attracted to the physical elements of you. But as far as the emotional, they won't really allow themselves, is what it looks like. And they're impulsive. So they get bored really easy. And it's almost like you don't know what they're going to do. They have a very addictive behavior. People that have impulsive energy have not just addictive behavior, but usually self-sabotaging behaviorisms because they're impulsive. They don't think. They're thinking by their emotions, but they're not emotionally intelligent. They're always coming from that wound. And so, again, it's going to lead them to shame. And when we have that, then it's just like, I don't know what to do. So the person will look like they're really lazy, and it's because they are, but it's because there's a lot of internal stuff going on. That fight, flight, freeze. So almost like stuck and stupid makes the person really tired and feel lethargic because of the wound. And then here it is, you're in the gift of style, and this person is jealous. And if you weren't that in the gift of style, they would just be jealous of you because they're not comfortable with themselves. So the projection is, again, they're going to make you feel how they feel about themselves. And that's what it was like to be with this person. And so obviously without that emotional connection, there's always the fear of betrayal, or this person doesn't show up emotionally, which is considered betrayal, or they actually betray by talking to other people, giving more to other people, because once they get into a real relationship with someone and that sex and the physical is like not as intense, well, then real life comes in and this person doesn't feel good about themselves. They can't escape into that. So, these are, again, the things that this person, why you wouldn't be able to be in a relationship with them. They would believe that they have a connection, but understand that they also know who they are, that they run away to avoid facing their problems. You're the first person that actually makes them feel this way. So there is a part of this person that believes that you are their divine counterpart. However, the fact that there's so many spiritual blocks, there's obstacles. So they're a past life karmic mate. They're not a twin flame. And it's because they don't know how to communicate. They give the silent treatment. They run away. So there's a lower energies. So the relationship actually should make them, want to be different. Where, again, this person knows what they do. They act like they don't care when they know down deep inside that they do. Childhood wounding is influencing this person's behaviors, and that even though they are making changes now, it's like they know that they have, sabotaged the connection. So, and they sabotaged the connection because they played a lot of games. It was about their manipulation, and it was because, again, they're selfish, but what they've gone through, it's mainly, again, the healing that they need. So we'll see, what are they going to do? And I like to do this part because what you'll see is that the person's behaviorisms are a lot of times not in alignment at all with what they think. It's the sabotaging behaviorisms, which this person knows now that they unwittingly sabotage this connection with you, but they see it after the facts. Sometimes I feel like you're speaking to me in my head and it triggers me because I wonder how much you can see into me and they don't like who they are. So again, that of course it triggers them because it's like, I don't want you to know anything. I create masks. I wear masks. So because I want you to believe that. I don't want you to see this. So I need to keep you at an arm's level that you don't really see this, so that you believe the mask, which believe, but what happened is you got tired of seeing the mask. That's what it said. And so, like I said, this is very triggering. And that ESP connection is claircognizance. So they know what they need to do to heal because you hold to a standard. So this is what the problem is. I care about you even when I act like I don't. I'm hiding my true feelings because I feel vulnerable. It's again that this person is very childish because again, they weren't allowed to feel vulnerable. They feel uncomfortable. And that's the end because they feel uncomfortable with themselves. So the irony is that this person feels uncomfortable with themselves to actually have an intimate relationship, but they'll be sleeping around. And so the intimacy again is that trust, is that balance, is that, like you said, the essence of who we are, our character. That's way too many. I could see if it was like 5, but it was like 25 because the deck is gigantic. Whatever you just cleared helped me to shift to. I feel like this person can feel when you again aren't as angry with them, when your energy is around them. ESP through the heart and mind. I think this person talks themselves out of, talks themselves out of being in a connection with you a lot of times just because of how they feel about themselves. They think that you're going to leave them when you see who they really are. Again, this person projects their patterns onto you, and then it makes it really difficult for them to see what's real and what's fear-based thinking. And I understand that if they do it to you, then you may feel the same exact way that they do. You show up in their dreams. It helps them process buried memories. So again, past life karmic connection. That means in past life, there was lessons that weren't learned. You're meeting up again in this life. You recognize that person's essence. It's the character lessons, the spiritual lessons that they need to learn. And they've already lost you in one life. I'm realizing this connection is something worth special and worth treasuring. Reincarnated together to clear specific patterns from our ancestral bloodline, which is again the whole point of a past life karmic connection. Is that you grew up in certain environments, learned certain lessons, were taught certain things. So the universe brings you this person as a perfect person to learn, to teach, but understand it's not an easy relationship. And you really have to love yourself when it's a karmic connection that's helping you to clear the patterns. When part of patterns could be self-sabotaging behaviorisms. This person has that. You could again have that you don't love yourself enough, that you don't value yourself enough, or that you knew how to work, but there wasn't any passion in your life, that you didn't have fun. Usually it's around that. So again, needing to clear those patterns. So that's the biggest thing of all, so that you restore your energy. Our love will manifest through the union of heart and mind. Again, expanding these areas allows our love to grow. ESP through the heart and mind. So obviously, how do you manifest? Through the thoughts that you think and the emotions that you have. So even if this person didn't want to think about you, they're thinking about you because again, it's just a spiritual connection. They can't help themselves but to do it. Seeing you working to create change, again, the gift of style. And I'm proud of what you're accomplishing. I want to work on a mission with you. I want to do something with you. So it's almost like you see very twin flame energy, where the runner does always become the chaser and the chaser becomes the runner. And usually there is self-sabotaging behaviorisms, and the person has to surrender to unconditional love. They don't want to do that. See, it's that love that makes a person actually do that. So the whole point is to heal. You're projecting your own fears and limitations onto me. Go within to understand that you are seeing yourself, not me. And again, that's what I said before, and it's showing up again. So a lot of this person, what they do is they have this very strong connection to you, but they have, a lot of wounds. And so, they project, it's the way that the spirit says, clear this from me. So that's the thing. When they project, that's when the sabotaging behaviorisms come out, because then they get angry, they get triggered. And the trigger is based on something that you did, but it's not based on the actual experience that created the wounding. It's just, again, triggered that person, triggered that wound. Again, it amazes me when things like just come out, like that you can finish each other's sentences, or this person just feels very connected to you, where I feel like, again, they feel displaced. They don't connect to anybody. And the fact that they have this ESP connection and this soul connection, this person doesn't like who they are because of that. And then it's like they have this connection, which is a contradiction of how they feel, because it's unconditional love. They wouldn't even know what unconditional love is because they don't like who they are. So of course it shocks them that you have that good connection. They usually feel awkward. They usually feel, like I said, out of place. My inner child was wounded when my parents couldn't respond to me in the way that I needed them to. And I react from that wound. And that's the projection. And that's the abandonment. And that's the jealousy. And like I can't have. So the connection is bringing up a lot of their inner child wounds. And so that's usually what a twin flame connection is going to do. It's going to trigger the shit out of you. And it's like it because they're old wounds, they're inherited wounds. The ancestors, when they say the ancestors are watching and learning and helping you at the same time with from what they've learned, this is the shit that they're talking about. Is that, we're talking about breaking codependency. We're talking about, integrating these wounds where the shadows, made us feel defective, made us feel not good enough, where we detached, disassociated from. We don't even remember what the experience was at times. So that's the whole thing. Again, our destiny is calling, preparing underway to take place. Again, this is very twin flamey energy, right? This is what I see. I'm tired of being away from you physically. I'm trying to process my fear so I can come back to you. I've been learning about twin flames and it feels right to me. See, that's what I'm talking about. Like, it's very twin flamey. The universe brought us together for a reason. I'm discovering what that reason is. And I don't think that that's something that this person ever really did. Relationships will always surface deep. This is making this person have to step in to their true self, find themselves. They're not going to be able to come into this connection and wear a mask. Not going to be able to do that again. I've been so grounded all my life, it's hard for me to trust the spiritual elements of our connection, yet I can't deny they exist. So it goes back to, it just doesn't make sense. Which spirit says, I have to make it so because otherwise this person would try to control it. They try and logic it. They try and look for problems. They get in their own way. They sabotage the connection. They overthink, and which overstimulates, and then they're lazy. They don't do anything because they're overstimulated, stuck and stupid. So understand, eventually they surrender, and that's the whole point. They can come to a place of spiritual equilibrium, and that's balance. That's the only way we can heal, is when we come to a place of balance. But you see this person's fighting it. Again, they're logical. Analytical came from survival. What I say see is what I know, is what I believe, just the facts. This person is the type person to like look online, to look to see like if you have a record, or look to see like what bad thing that they can find about you. It's like they always come from a place of like protecting themselves and not really letting people in because they feel inadequate. So they keep people at that length, coming from more of their ego. This relationship, again, will not, they will not be able to come from that level, because again they realize that that unconditional love, that connection is oneness, right? It's again our connection to each other, it's our connection to our creator. One, we are all one. And so they say, don't let fear get in the way of this truth. Doesn't mean that there isn't fear. This person has to fight the fact of the fear. They're accessing past life wisdom. It's helping them to understand things with a new perspective. I'm changing this pattern and moving forward, but there are subconscious blocks that are still being worked out, not just from you, from them. And that's what this twin flame connection is about. It makes you do the work. A lot of healing is done in separation. I'm awakening. I know more than I'm letting in. So this person does know who you are, and they do know, they believe that you're their twin flame. I look over here, twin flame. That's what they know. And I believe they had to kind of like sabotage the connection in order to know it. And so we have to say, you always have free will. You don't have to be with this person, obviously. However, you have to say, well, why would I connect a person like this into my life? What do I need to integrate? Because whether you're going to be with this person or not, the karmic themes will continue to play out. Spirit says this is just the perfect person to teach you those lessons. They're going to trigger you. You're going to get hurt. You're going to be mad. You're going to be fuming. You're going to ruminate, because, again, they're going to dig out all that, those are the spiritual blocks, those childhood woundings, those ancestral karmic blocks. So again, there has to be a lot of love and passion, but also, what is that second chakra? It's birthing of something. The twin flame journey is birthing. You're in the gift of style. You're creating. This person's watching you. They're a little bit jealous because they're like, you have that going on. You're not paying attention to them. You're paying attention to yourself. And this person, like I said, they're getting, is awakening to the fact of, hey, like, you actually have a lot in common, and I could see how I could work and be in your life, and also that this is a twin flame connection. So again, seeing why did you attract this person into your life, we have to look at the fragmented parts of you, because those will be the karmic themes that you'll be like, I just noticed that this always happens to me. This is how it makes me feel. The spirit says optimistic, suppression, hope, laughter, naive, nurturing, neglect, play. these, I feel like on a lot of levels, like your childhood was affected. And your childhood was affected because you were suppressed. Whether or not that was because you didn't nurture it, you weren't nurtured. And then when we're not nurtured as children, we don't feel strong within ourselves. It's we need that. If we feel like we're neglected, then what happens is that we don't try as hard. We don't go out and discover who we are. And so I just feel like you neglected an aspect of yourself that needed to be nurtured. And so again, and it's mainly because you were neglected. And when that happens, we look for someone mainly to come into our lives. We don't look to say, oh, let me create with that energy. Let me no, we're looking for emotional support. But emotional support comes in the whole creating yourself, because then the universe brings you the people, the situations, and the experiences that are going to emotionally fulfill you, which needs to happen in order for you not to be codependent. Because if you don't have those things that fulfill you, then you will automatically look for that person to give it to you. And the person will always come up short. And not to mention, a person will also be triggered by that. If they're not strong, then they're like, I can't, the commitment scares them, because they're like, I don't know if I can do that to make you happy. So you really have to be happy within yourself. And so spirit says that's by nurturing yourself, especially if you were suppressed. And like in art, maybe you said, I always wanted to do acting. I always wanted to be a comedian. I always wanted to bake a cake. It doesn't matter. It has to be something within that second chakra is your essence, your passion for life, your individuality, how you can go with the flow of life by your choice of focus is your tool to, you know, to cut off people that want to emotionally manipulate you. It's again, you're in the passion for life, and spirit says it was a part of you. So this person didn't emotionally give, and that was the whole kind of like mind screw, because it was like, well, they're a twin flame. There's so much passion. I know that this person knows who I am, but why would they give me nothing? And spirit says because of that, because of their issue, but it's going to make you feel inadequate. It's going to make you feel a certain way. It's designed to look at your inner child more. Spirit saying you neglected now something. You have to reparent yourself because you weren't nurtured. That there was something in your life that you suppressed that brought you joy, that brought you happiness, that brought you again to go out and play, is that. Because hope stays alive when we are in the passion for life, because the universe is continuously giving us support. It may not be the support that we wanted. We might say, I wanted that person. And spirit says, you can't make a person, but you can attract another person, and you can also attract situations and experiences that are going to fulfill you, that show you a different aspect of yourself, that give you recognition, or that give you, again, that bring you into all different consciousnesses. There's more to life than just that. When life is just about that, then it's just going to be about codependency, and then the person has a lot more power than they deserve. And can you imagine a person like this having more power than you over your life? Because that's how they would act, because they weren't healed. They haven't created themselves. By you not playing along, and by you being in the gifted style, hey, you just took your energy away from this person. You weren't mean to this person. You didn't tell them off. They deserve to be told off. They acted like a jerk, but you acted like you weren't affected. So understand that that means that you didn't abandon yourself. kids that were neglected a lot of times abandon themselves by trying to get that love outside of them. The gift of style says, hey, you're getting it from inside of you. That's what makes you strong, because strength doesn't come from controlling your environment, it comes from making yourself strong. And that is, again, this person wasn't strong. And Spirit says, and you weren't strong when you met them, as strong as who you are now. And that twin flame will push you into a better version of yourself as well. It's challenging. And so Spirit says you still need to transmute the negative energy. It's, again, you're not your old self, especially if you suppressed energy. It's time to step into who you are. There's a story of who you think you are, then there's a real story of who you truly are. And that's when you step into, like, again, the gift of style, because it's an unfoldment process. And meanwhile, you were suppressed in childhood, and you're like, this person could have suppressed you by giving you nothing. And Spirit says, yes, it is a faith walk, but faith is the bridge that connects you to what you sow, to what you reap. Spirit says the kingdom of heaven's inside of you. If you can imagine it, you can create it. Ground yourself, put your energy there. That's the gift of style. So you're actually co-creating with the universe, the divine. And so, again, using your passion to fight for what you believe in. Again, we can not be emotionally manipulated. We can, again, have good discernment when we have balance. That second chakra is all about balance. And that's through the passion for life. That's why it's also your emotional center. And when we have that, we are not codependent, where Spirit says, because understand, difficult personalities. If you were suppressed in childhood, well, difficult personalities, controlling personalities. So you'd have to use your passion to deal with that type of personality, because you could be like, I love this person, but they're too much for me. They want to control. They're one-sided. They're this. And Spirit says, yes, they will be that way because they need healing. But you also, because it shouldn't be such a problem. It's just about being in your passion. You don't have to say anything. You don't have to fight or anything. It's just be in this energy, Spirit says. Eventually the person will surrender. Don't let them emotionally manipulate you, because you don't want to miss out on infinite possibilities. The kingdom of heaven's inside of you. You imagining it. What are you imagining it? What are you putting your energy towards? Who are you becoming? Release control. And that's hard. The second chakra imbalances usually mean, I have like to control. I'm fearful. It's hard to go with the flow. And Spirit says, I know you need help. That's why I brought this twin flame into the connection. And, they want to control it worse than you, but they have to surrender, Spirit says. Once you're actually birthing something, then it's easier because the focus isn't on the relationship. But in the beginning, it's like hard because it's the relationship, and it's about control, and it's about, fear and bringing up all those childhood memories. So it's a significant relationship. It's a hard relationship. And so Spirit says, it's time for you to go into the unknown. I want you to see a different version of yourself. You don't see yourself the way that I made you, Spirit says. You need to go into the unknown, so you meet people and they deal with who you are today, not the wounds of the past. This twin flame is going to help you heal some of the wounds of the past, but we don't want to do that all the time, Spirit says. You want to, again, go into the unknown and put your energy towards creating yourself. And you go into the unknown so that you don't know anybody. You see how people deal with you now. Again, you're not afraid to be that person that is going to listen to the whispers of your soul, and where you get to align your actions to your values, because that's what's going to make you a magnet to who and what comes into your life. And that's inevitably going to help you transform all those spiritual blocks from childhood. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to do it. Spirit says, it's, again, the relationship significant, because it's helping you to heal. But we're not forgetting about ourselves, Spirit says. It's like you still need to go and not suppress yourself and become who you are, become the expression of love, connect to different people, see who you are today, so that when the connection returns, you really know whether you want this person, number one, and you would in divine time, and also to learn and to really hold yourself to who the person that you really want to portray yourself as today. And again, divine light, Spirit says, know that you're an expression of love and shine like the sun. Your inner light is your strength and your treasure. And Spirit says, and that's what shouldn't have been suppressed. Your intuition guides you, that's the higher self, to discover the wonders and the goodness of who you are. And that's, didn't I tell you that? Spirit says, I don't like the way you view yourself. It's again, that's not who you are, but that experience happened. But that's not because of you. That's because of, again, those people's wounding. Don't let the world tell you who you are. You don't become part of the world. You can be in the world, but never become a part of it. Shine your light in the world, contribute to the world. Again, by becoming what you love, doing what you love. And then once your cup is all the way full, then you can be in a relationship, because people like to have things their way. And though we may love person and want to do it, a lot of times we feel, oh, well, now the person takes advantage or I'm expected to do it. And that's codependency. And unconditional love, there is no expectations, there is no ownership. The twin flame connection makes us surrender, makes us like be like, oh, like you can't, if the person triggers you, but you love them, but there's it, it makes us do the work. It makes us evolve. And that's really what Spirit says. And why? So you can see who you are and contribute to the world, to be the expression of love. It all comes back to that. All right, guys. I'll leave that there. If anyone has any questions, you can feel free to ask. If you resonated, give me a like. Thank you again, Alan and Joy and everyone else that tuned in. And like I said, if you resonate, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. If you're interested in shadow coaching, check out my shadow healing coaching program. Only $7.99 a month. You get inner child healing, shadow healing, reparenting, and all the healing modalities to help you heal the effects of trauma. Very important when you're dealing with, when you have had trauma, it's not like you're allowed to talk about it or don't feel comfortable talking about it. So this is a safe space to be able to work through those shadows. And like I said, to heal the effects of trauma, that means you have to recondition your nervous system. You have to recondition the way that you think. If you were around a narcissist for long periods of time, it's a lot of it is just habit. We've conditioned ourselves because the environment shapes our reality. We create neurological pathways due to our actions and our habits. So it's just habit. So we have to recondition by creating a new habit. We have to, do certain exercises to recondition the nervous system, to get back into the present moment. And we have to have direction and understand why we're actually here. So that's what it's all about. And I love the fact of the group because support, more support. How can you beat it? And don't forget to check out my Otter Spirit bracelet link. You get 15% off. I love these. All right, guys. Love you guys. Have a great weekend. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.